Hey guys, welcome to La Bóveda Podcast. Tonight we're gonna be talking of a great game that I just came across with. This game is called Final Fall, and the best way that I can put this is in a crumbling asylum haunted by guilt, grief, and the mind's darkest corners. There's one woman that fights not only for her life but for her sanity. So today in La Bóveda, we're gonna deep dive into that terrifying and emotional charged world of Final Fall, and a psychological horror game that dares to go where few others will. And tonight we have the game dev with us. And hey man, how are you doing? How are you feeling tonight?
Hey, hey, so thanks for having me, man. I'm great. I'm great. A little tired, but great.
That's good, man. This game is not your average horror title. This is a descent to the self, man. Like it's like somebody's holding up a mirror against you. So welcome to La Bóveda. I'm Joe, the host, and we're honored to have you here, man.
The honor is all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
So for the people watching at home, you know that we here in La Bóveda. If you've been a follower for a long time, there's a special place when we are talking about mental health, and there's hashtag El Gaming Salva Vidas, which is a movement we started here, and this is a very special one to the guys. I just before starting the interview, I just texted Capita, which is the psychologist that we do autopsia with, and I'll just let him know. It's like, dude, I finished this game like 2 days ago. You need to finish the game. Like you need to play it because I'm pretty sure that he will want to do an autopsia episode on it. So with that said, Final Fall has earned a reputation as one of the boldest and most emotionally raw psychological horror games in recent memory. And that's me taking that step because I've seen a lot of stuff. I have this section that I go to I say to the deepest and darkest corner of the internet just to read comments and to react to what people have to say about games. And the question that came to my mind is what drove you to explore themes like schizophrenia, trauma, self destructive behavior through both narrative and gameplay?
Well, the way this game started actually is kind of funny. The basic idea was what would happen if you had a game that the protagonists wanted to kill themselves and you had to stop them, but in a more comic way. That was the initial idea that I was toying with.
Okay.
So I started making like a few prototypes of a funny game that was supposed to be funny. And as I went through it, I realized there is something dark, something that needed to be explored there. So I switched entirely from the funny, go happy kind of idea and dove into deep psychology like schizophrenia and stuff like that. I wanted a story that was compelling, something that would leave the player questioning what they played, what they experienced when the game was over. So it started as a joke and then it evolved into something much darker, something that kind of holds a mirror up to you. Like, what would you do in that situation?
It's great that you say that because I heard about people when they're gonna be starting a game and they're going through that development process and brainstorming and whatnot. I had a very very good friend that started making this game and he was playing. I can't remember the name of the game, but it's this game that it went viral on Steam because you're riding like a bicycle and you get chopped into pieces and stuff. And and he was just like he came to the conclusion that that silly game inspired a very serious game that he's working on it right now, and it's so appealing for us that to know that taking that idea for being funny and now you're making like a more serious game, let people explore that kind of stuff, and maybe set up people to actually think about how this stuff happens because this stuff is real. It's stuff that happens, and maybe it's not happening to you, but there's somebody out there struggling with these kind of things.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of research that I had to do for Final Fall to try to depict schizophrenia as accurately as possible. I mean, obviously everybody experiences it differently, but I tried to make it as close as I could. So, and I had a few people that are actually schizophrenics play the game and tell me this is the most accurate they've seen it depicted in video games.
Yeah,
So that was a very nice comment of them. So made me realize I'm actually onto something here.
I'm gonna tell you right now that I've only played two games lately that have made me think about what people with schizophrenia need to go through, and especially when they're having suicidal thoughts and stuff. And one of them, of course, is Senua. Um,
Oh, I
yeah,
love that game.
it's fucking great. And then I played this, bro, and man, congrats! That this game just jumped like it's very high on my list right now. I'm guys, if you're watching this, I'm recommending this game 100%. It's so good.
Thank you, thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
So Ophelia, she carries a weight of guilt, and you know it feels dense as the asylum's rotting walls because everything is we're in this environment like rotting like decay. Can you tell us a little bit more about maybe her backstory on your lore, how you came up with the idea of Ophelia, what events shape her before the game even begins, or how did you construct in your mind her psyche and such visceral battlefield?
Uh, Ophelia to me is a character that struggles throughout her life. She was always sick, trying to get better, not getting anywhere, and eventually losing it to this constant inner battle of herself. I wanted something that had a very deep impact for the player, and just having to fight zombies, for example, after a while maybe gets a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
So at the crescendo of the game, and this is a little bit of a spoil for those that haven't finished it. You finish the game, so you know what happens at the end to her daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to switch it up so you experience it through the victim's eyes. So
Yeah.
at the end, you know, you control her daughter, not Ophelia. So you get to experience like that horror that little girl felt
Yeah. I
at her
complete.
mother, which is
Com-
possibly the worst thing somebody can experience, I think.
it's I'm gonna be totally honest. When that sequence started, when she's just there, and I think it's from the kitchen to the living room,
Yeah.
and she's holding the knife, and she says, "Oh baby, I'm sorry." I said, "No, no," and I stopped playing, went for a cup of coffee, and came back because I am. This is why I like about psychological horror and survival horror because you can experience these things without having to go through them. And especially with this kind of topics for me it is super important because I my goal is to make people happy and to help people that are going through these things. This is the base of the channel. This is why we started La Bóveda, and some of the guys at first thought I was not crazy, but they thought that it was a big leap because it's like do you really want to bring all that weight into your things, because you're doing a lot of stuff, and now like this is not gonna. There's gonna come times that it's not gonna be easy, but you know, I am very thankful that I've been backed up by. I would never do my community, build the community different. I think the way that this has shaped is we have the right people there. They support each other, so it's great. Like I'm telling you, man, they're really gonna appreciate this game. I can't wait for this interview to come. Guys, if you're watching this, trust me on this one. So, the shifting environment got me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the warping halls, the echoing whispers, the mirrors on Ophelia's mental descent. Because I felt it was like a descent into madness slowly as part of her condition. And all the sigils and everything. How did you design this sanity-based world to make her internal chaos physically playable and emotionally immersive? Because it's like, I don't know if it was on purpose. I'm pretty sure it is because this is all about how game design came to be, right? You want to make someone feel something, but while you were making the game, do you realize how this was gonna make people feel?
I didn't know exactly how it's gonna make everybody else feel, but I caught myself sometimes getting actually depressed with the things I was making.
Yeah,
Uh, it was a bit sad at the same time, and the sadder I got about it, the more I thought maybe this is the right way to go. I knew it's either love it or hate it, especially the whole the words floating from the walls, the walls crumbling and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah,
lot happening on the screen. You have the whispers, you have the words and all that stuff. But that's the whole point of the game.
yeah,
You're not inside their head. It's chaos. It's not quiet. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. Every day is a constant battle, 24/7 for those people. And I wanted to convey that. And at the same time, I wanted to have like an insanity meter, but I thought that would be the best way to actually incorporate the insanity meter into the game,
yeah,
into the environment, instead of a traditional like health bar that goes up and down.
yeah. It feels
So
more.
the whispers, yeah,
It
yeah.
it feels more natural that way. It's like it's happening. It's like it's not a meter. It's just happening.
Yeah, but I think most people didn't really understand that that was a meter. I mean, I've watched quite a few live streams of the game, and most people just let the letters go up to the point of complete insanity, and they were like, "We cannot see anything," and then just refuse to take their pills to take it down. Like
I think
it
that's
went
a
over people's heads.
yeah. I think it's very hard, and this I say it with all my heart on it. It's because I've experienced like trying to get into this world and spread the word on stuff and how people can bully people that are sick, like mentally ill. It's like people
Yeah, that's just
at some point they don't want to understand what they go through, and I can tell you like from what I've heard and what I've talked with friends, I have I'm not glad about it. Unfortunately, I have people that I know that are schizophrenic, and all of this comes at once, and it's not always the same. Sometimes they just get stuff, colors, or silhouettes that appear and talk to them and stuff like that. And there are other that there are sounds, there are visions, there's it like it comes everything at once. And they have some of them identify their triggers, some of them don't. And they're the same way there are people that feel that understand what these people have go through, and there's people that believe that it's not, and they don't pay attention to it. And even playing a game like this, it's gonna be hard for some people to understand, and that's why we're doing this, because I really want it touch a very delicate fiber in my persona, and I feel like this is one of those things that I want my people from the channel to experience without being sick, so you can understand and help out if you can. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm trying to get of everything.
oh,
Um,
I get it, I completely understand that, and I support them 100%.
yeah. So the do you think that this is so heavy? It's the themes that you explore: guilt, mental illness, identity. It's heavy by itself, and
Yes.
honestly, it's hard to know where to even begin sometimes. Um, what motivated you to dive into something so deep? Because I know you already like mentioned something, but is it personal experience? Do you have somebody close to you that maybe went through this? Was there a moment where you knew, I think this is the story that I want to tell?
It's a little bit of I have somebody close to me that struggles with mental illness, not schizophrenia, but a very, very dark and deep depression that's been going on for years. It's one of my best friends.
Okay.
So I've seen how psychology can affect your everyday life
Oh
in
yeah.
a worst possible way so far. And the other part is, as I mentioned before, I like games that when they're over, you kind of stare at the screen and like, what the hell did I just
Yeah.
experience? What would I do in that scenario myself? So it
Yeah.
was kind of like a mix between the two. I wanted to bring something like that. Also, I've noticed that, especially the suicide subject, it's something that nobody dares to touch now.
Yeah.
Not in talks, not in podcasts, anywhere. It's like a taboo word. You say it, and automatically your video gets taken down or something. And it's a serious issue that people are having daily. And this is a misconception about Final Fall. It does not try to romanticize it or like push the player to suicide or anything like that. They give them the option. Like those people have the option. But it
Exactly.
does everything in the game, to prevent you from doing it. It deletes your save, for example, if you do it.
Yeah.
It's
It
there for you.
it
It creates a psychological impact to know that at any point you can end it and cut this story short and never find out what she is, what she's gonna become, what she leaves behind, and all that stuff.
it's very interesting that you mentioned that people think that these topics are trying to be romanticized in some way. Because when we started doing La Autopsia, we did one on, we mentioned briefly Rule of Rose and Hunting Ground. And
Ah, I've seen Rose.
of course, we got some messages of people saying that those games, they shouldn't get a remake because this game romanticizes the stalkers and this and that. And Capita he's a psychologist and he takes this very seriously. And we were just talking to him on the next podcast, and he was saying, and I agree totally with it. It's like this stuff happens every day. It's not like
Exactly.
we're trying to romanticize stuff. Like there's people being held against their will. There's people, being kidnapped. There's people being, and I'm not gonna mention the words because then this video gets taken down, and what's the purpose? But
Exactly.
this stuff happens, and I feel that Silent Hill, especially Silent Hill, Hunting Ground, Rule of Rose, and you can have Eternal Darkness, maybe Clock Tower, and you have a lot of these games that are screaming with you need to know about this, and this happened during the 90s in an era where this stuff were seen as, oh no, you don't talk about it, you just sweep it under the rug.
I find it a little hypocritical because right now, for example, there are wars actively on happening in the world,
Oh yeah,
but you can play Call of Duty just fine, and it's fine.
yeah.
But when you touch something that's psychological, automatically it's a big no-no.
It's so messed up, man. And I hope that if whoever we can help talking about this, and let them know there are places. One of the things that I do is during my live streams I give the suicide hotline. I put it in there, and I start getting hits on my video, like taking it down because the word was there. And I'm like, but are you guys dumb? Or like, I'm trying to actually put a number out there because I'm trying to help. And it was a big shock for me, but then I knew what I was getting into it. So at the same time, we agreed to the point that, whatever it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. We just have to deal with it, but that's not gonna stop us from trying to help. It's
I,
Yeah,
I understand what you mean completely. I mean, some topics you cannot touch, even if you mean well, they get misrepresented as something else.
yeah. Like you're trying to get something from it. It's the worst, man. I know. It's you can't win. You can't win with some people. It's not everyone though. There's people that actually appreciate this kind of stuff, and we will have to work with those. So
Yeah, exactly. I think I appeal to an older audience with this
yeah,
title. It's
yeah,
certainly not for kids. I mean, it's an 18 plus title, and for people that actually want to struggle because the game is actually fairly hard, if I can say myself. And the topics are for people that actually want to spend some time to think, to actually read the items in the game, understand the lore better, have a more complete picture of the story, if you will.
yeah. Let's talk about the enemies for a while. So the enemies in Final Fall are hauntingly personal. It's fears, regrets, basically given flesh, and that's how I understood them without saying a word. Could
Thank you for getting it.
Is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay.
those things you fight in the game are not there. You're actually fighting Ophelia's inner demons. It's like the physical manifestation of her worst thoughts. That's why they have like different forms. Each one has a different purpose. And if I can have a little update, right now I'm reworking the entire combat system. Gonna be adding a few new enemies, changing the combat radically. So there's gonna be kind of a big expansion coming to the game soon because the combat has been lacking, and I knew that coming in. But
That's
due to budget and timing and all that stuff, I could not give the game the combat I had in mind.
I see. So you just answer my next question, it was going to be like, well, what aspect of Ophelia's inner struggle the creatures represent? But you just, that's great, man. That's fantastic. I'm happy. I'm smiling right now. So the decision to punish repeated acts of self harm, and it got me off guard. There's this part of the game that you need to go. You go into this room that it says if it's not the first one, it's gonna be the second. And it's not the second, it's the third.
Oh yeah.
There's one of the doors that she starts like inflicting self harm out of the blue, and I remember I just let loose of the control, and I'm like, what? Why are you doing? Stop! And the decision to punish repeated acts of self harm with consequences like maybe losing progress adds weight to the player's choices, right? So, what kind of emotional engagement were you hoping to create, and how do you balance that compassion with consequence? How do you manage that through your mechanics?
What the your save getting deleted is pretty
Yeah,
punishing. So I was hoping that nobody would take this choice. I wanted to give them the option, like those people have it, but not actually use it. At the section of the game where you go to the rooms that like not the first one, not the second one, that actually do inflict self harm on Ophelia, this is actually you reliving her past because she has done attempts before while she was in the asylum before it got corrupted and burned down to the ground and stuff like that. So you actually re-watching through her eyes what she did, the attempts she did on the past.
yeah,
That's the whole point to find out what she did, how she did it, and then after you have the bigger picture that this is not the first time it happened before, you move on with your final decisions on how you want to progress further.
yeah. This game definitely needs an autopsy. Capita, if you're watching, we have a homework to do. So, according to my research,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. You know what? I think this is gonna be the first episode that it's gonna be in English. We've been talking about starting to making some episodes in English. This is a good one. So, according to my research, you've mentioned. I read somewhere, and this is like I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I wanted to ask that you used AI tools for background music.
Stopped. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You
Oh,
hear-
sorry, the sound stopped mid sentence. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'll repeat it. Don't worry about it. So I did some research, and while I was playing, according to what I found, you mentioned using AI tools for background music.
Uh, Not for background music. The soundtrack on the main menu was AI generated.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I read some comments, and I'm like, this is a good question because I was gonna ask to like in a time right now that we are where many people look down or outright reject the use of AI in game development, which I think it's just one of the dumbest stuff that I read online. Uh, how do you personally feel creating in that space? I think I use AI to create music. I'm a musician. I know how to play instruments, but sometimes I just wanted to work on a riff for a guitar, and I don't want to have to go through the hurdle of connecting the electronic drum set or maybe going to the studio and record whatever. So I just create the drums using AI because that's what that's what technology and tools are for. Um, so has that reaction, not necessarily for your game, but for using AI tools on games, shape somehow your perspective or your process during game development?
Well, you cannot deny AI is here to stay. I mean, the
Yep.
tools are getting better by the day, and you can either use it or not. But I've gotten actually quite a bit of hate about using AI for the soundtrack. I had
Mm,
people ask me on the community hub on Steam, why did I use it? And honestly, I don't mind if games use or if game developers use AI to like speed up their pipeline and their creative process.
yeah.
It's a tool like everything else. But for me personally, it was all down to budget. I would much rather have a musician here in Greece and we can work together on the soundtrack and everything in person or in studio. I just couldn't afford that. I mean, I had to pay for the game out of my own pocket, and I'm not rich by any means. So AI was the only affordable alternative I had. Other than that, I would not have a soundtrack.
That's valid enough, man. That's valid enough, and that's the kind of answer that I was expecting to. So there's a lot of man, like my perception about video game development has changed so much in the past 2 years. So much. Like talking to people like you and knowing their stories and their background. There's some of I've talked to people that before their game starts selling copies, they were taking stuff on their credit cards because they didn't even have money to pay for the electricity bill. And there's so much that go unnoticed, and then there's you get the people that look down on even that and say, well, nobody asked him to start making games. And I'm like, bro, this like 2025 is a very, very difficult year, and I think we need to get better as a society because everything is moving towards hate, bro. There's so much hate on the internet.
I
There's
know, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, the game is not $80; it's like 9.99, and right now it's like on 30%. It's like 6.67 or something like that right
yeah,
now,
and it's
made by a single person.
and it's worth it. It's worth more than that. So
I mean, you cannot expect AAA quality from a single person working from their bedroom. It's
yeah,
just not realistically possible to give them that quality they're expecting for that €6 they're gonna $6 they're gonna spend.
hey man,
I wish it could.
I've gotten better experiences. I'm not throwing shade on anything. Like I just enjoy video games, as a whole. But we were talking about how I wrote a column on gamebangers.com about it. Like how AAA games cannot hit sometimes where indie games are nailing it. The time that we're waiting for a AAA, let's say a survival horror new game that comes out, right? Whatever the game is,
Mhm.
we're waiting on it. We've been seeing trailers for 2, 3 years. The game comes out, and it leaves a lot to to sink in. You're like you're playing it, and you're like, man, this is not what I expected, but I guess it'll have to do because it's a AAA game. No, like there are games out there, and I will keep talking about them all the time because they deserve it. Like we have Signalis, Crowd Country, we have I don't know. We recently, what else? Oh my god, there's so much like Tormented Souls. There's a lot of games that have gone from being done by just two people, and now they have studios, right? And it's
That's the dream.
bro, it's survival horror. It's more of storytelling. Like, of course, you have survival horror, classic survival horror, and you have psychological horror, which both come from the same root. But there's so much into making a good game like that to at least captivate the audience. The audience that like those games, and especially with
I think
psycho.
it comes down to passion.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
I
It's
mean, in a AAA studio, you have the developers, and those are like really talented people. I mean, the Claire Obscure Expedition 33 game that came out now is living proof that
oh yeah,
passionate developers can create masterpieces.
oh yeah,
But you have to imagine like all the layers from the ground floor of the developers, where the creativity lies, all the way to the top, where they're looking at like a spreadsheet of how can we like reduce cost and maximize profit? How can we add microtransactions? Their hands are tied.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's why I think indie games, at the end of the day, leave you a better overall experience as a whole. I mean, as a genre, than
Yeah,
AAA games of the latest years. I mean, we get some AAA games that are like worth it, but there are so many great indie games out there that nobody's ever heard of.
have you ever seen Alisa? Uh,
Alyssa?
Alisa is such a great game, bro. I remember I talked with Casper Crows, who's the developer, and when he told me, I didn't realize I'm playing the game and this is so good, and you get to it's like a Resident Evil type game, and it has the tank controls. It's a very, very classic game, bro. It's so classic that it was like the moment that I started playing it, I'm like, this is so good, and it has
Has like
very
the switching cameras and stuff.
yeah. So, and the story he was telling, like it was everything behind the game design was brilliant. And then at some point he decided he's gonna put like a wardrobe and you can change your dresses. And when you change the dresses, it gives you perks. And I didn't realize. I finished the game, and I mentioned in the interview, I'm talking with him, and I mentioned like, it's like those perks help you. And he's like, yeah, I'm a fan of Dark Souls, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't notice that. Like he actually used influences from Souls types games in a survival horror game, and he made it more difficult and more fun at the same time. So
This here gives me a great pass for something I wanted to mention and ask your opinion about because I've been toying with an idea for a while for a
yeah,
horror game.
yeah,
What do you think would look like if a Souls-like game, more specifically Sekiro, for example, because it's one of my favorites, and
yeah,
Silent Hill had a baby, like a horror game with this
bro.
type of combat? I
I,
cannot get it out of my head.
I think that you would make a masterpiece because it's how can you well there's I would never say never because my comment was going to be how can you go bad with that. Well, there's a million ways you can go bad with it, but it's I think something like that, well crafted with a very very deep story, and I think you're no stranger to that. It would be great. It would be fucking great. It would be fucking great.
I'm working on something. I'll let you know.
Man, yeah, like I say to every developer that comes to La Bóveda, like if you need help with playtesting or opinions and stuff, and I'm actually working right now with like 5 or 6 different people, and they're like, they send me stuff, and I'm like, you want my opinion on it, right? Yeah, okay. So even if it's not what you expect, you okay with it? I'm just like, yeah, I just want you to murder it. And I'm like, okay.
That's the best feedback.
Yeah, that's feedback. So, and I do a lot of play tests that I can't stream, and I have done play tests. I just started doing play testing that I'm allowed to stream too. So, it's good. I just hope that at some point, because I'm not the only one doing content like that. There's thousands of people doing horror content, but I wanted to make this more of giving back to the community what the community gives content creators, and content creators indirectly includes game devs and includes other people. Like if we can create that connection in between, like everybody's like, feels that it's a part of it. Oh man, that makes me feel like you call it whatever, but that for me it's top notch. I know it's like something that some of the guys call that it's a bold idea, like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I got Discord servers in here that I'm looking at right now that I'm a part of that got amazing communities in there where game devs are talking with people, hundreds of people giving feedback and whatnot. And if you were interested, I can connect you with those two after the interview. But they have, you drop stuff in there and ask people, what do you think about this? And it never leaves that room, bro. It's so good.
Everybody benefits from that. I think that's how great games are made.
Yeah,
Very good and honest feedback.
I
You should be able to tell somebody this fucking sucks. Change it.
whatever the opinion is, it should be taken as feedback. And one of the perks that I'm gonna put for subs coming soon. I already told, like, I was talking with like 4 of them last night, is I'm gonna create a channel inside the server for game devs to actually do that. Like, hey, what do you think about this and that? Blah 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 blah. Because it's the feedback that
That's
you
awesome.
need. Like I said, man, I'm trying to create that platform that actually helps people. So, hey, horror when done right, it exposes. And this is a hot take from La Autopsia. I'm taking words out of Capita's mouth right now. But horror, when done right, exposes what society wants to hide. That should be
I love that.
yeah, that should be a slogan, bro.
I love that.
If you had to summarize it in one line, what truth does Final Fall reveal about pain, identity, and the human mind?
That's a hard question.
Oh yeah,
That's a hard question. Well, if I have to summarize in one line, shit, come back to me in a minute. I need to think about this. Next question.
I know the brain hurts sometimes.
Can you repeat it one more time? Sorry, it's a
Yeah.
little late here.
If you had to summarize in one line, what truth does Final Fall reveal about pain, identity, and the human mind?
Ah, well, everybody has their own bodies. You cannot know what somebody's going through at any point in their life, and
Thank
you
you.
can make choices so destructive to yourself and to people around you, and not even realize you're doing them. I
Bro.
think that comes as close as it can to this game. If you follow Ophelia's story through the DVDs and all the narration and stuff like that, you can see that he's actually suffering.
Yeah. And there's a point in the game where I was like, just like, she needs to rest, man. she needs a fucking break. It's so bad. Hey man,
He does.
we're getting, this has been great. We're getting to that final stretch. I have some bóveda, we call it la bóveda rapid fire questions just for fun because they never get answered quickly. But you know, the first one, I'm gonna just make two this time. But what's your favorite survival horror game of all time?
Resident Evil 1, hands down, PlayStation 1.
Yes,
It was my first game ever, and I love everything
bro.
about
I
it.
still have. I don't know if you can see it. Well, you'll see it when it comes out because we're not sharing the screen. But right here, right now, I'm pointing to the long box. I still have the PlayStation 1 long box edition here.
I
And
love
that game is so good. And what's your favorite horror movie?
I'm not really big on horror movies, to be honest. I think, from the top of my head, I'm gonna go with what was that one with Lily something, the creepy music and the tulips or something like that. It came a few years ago.
Mm,
I don't remember the title. Insidious. Sorry.
Insidious. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a creepy one.
That movie is kind of creepy. Yeah. I personally don't like, and it's not like fear itself. It's just I don't feel like stuff that it's like demons and haunting ghosts and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of. I'm more like a slasher film kind of guy.
For me, it was the music. The music gave
Oh
me a
yeah.
very uneasy feeling.
I,
And I don't really get like anxious and stuff in movies, but that movie actually got to me, and I
yeah.
remember it to this day.
I have two recent movies that actually got me pretty good. It's Hereditary's one, and then the other one is Midsummer. That's top for me. It's so good. It's so good, man.
I'm
Hey,
gonna have to check those out.
yeah, I can send you a link to it. So, guys, thank you for watching, and man, thanks for your time. I think we've been deep, so I think
It was a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
hey, I hope the game continues selling copies and more people gets to it. Guys, you're watching, the link to the Steam, it's going to be down below here in the description. And I'm also going to put it down here, a link to the article that I'm going to be writing in GameBangers.com. So, hey, thanks for your time, man. And guys, you need to play Final Fall, so go. Thanks, man. Till the next time,
Thank you
guys.
so much.